Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to be showing you step by step how you can paint this gorgeous silhouette of a girl making a wish with a dandelion. Now this is a beginner friendly painting because it's a silhouette, and even if you can't draw, I provide a traceable that you can download off of the website and transfer onto the canvas. If you're looking for that link, if you're here during the live, the moderators will share that link with you live, but you can also find it in the description down below. Now I'm going to be demonstrating every part of how we get this in, including the sketching part, but again, that's an optional thing to do. I want to thank Crystal Blake here at the beginning because she gave us thing. Now on the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to help me bring you this class, bring you the step-by-step instruction, everything broken down. And he's also going to shout out you guys during the chat. He might read your questions or comments. If you have a question or a comment, put it all in chats and the moderators will see that and find the link and help you out. You might get your question answered on the show, which would be pretty fantastic, wouldn't it?
I think it would.
All right. Let's just go over the materials and jump right on in.
Okay, well, let me go over and make you little then. I have to make you mini me.
Mini me.
Boop, boop. No, that's not you. That's you. There's little you.
There's little me. Okay. So we're on a 9x12 surface today. This is nice because it works with most of your home printers. You can just do a single sheet to get the traceable on. I have a Mars Black, Titanium White, and Phthalo Blue. And I'm also going to be using Titanium White Fluid Acrylic. If you have them, you could also use a Posca pen to get nice lines. And is something falling over?
I'm just having to lower because I'm having to adjust because it's so big. See,
it's casting a shadow.
It's in here. It's like, ah!
Okay. Okay. Great stun handing. Okay, so we're going to break down in the first step how we're going to sort of lay this in and sketch this in paint. Now, I'm going to do this with paint. You would do this with chalk or pencil if you were doing this because you want to be able to change your mind. The bug, ready to be blown away by another amazing tutorial. Thank you so much. It's a bug party. Squeak, squeak. Okay, I'm going to pull my handy-dandy T-square out, and I am going to get a round brush. I'm going to do this in blue. I want you to be able to really see it. Again, I highly recommend use like colored chalk or something that you can erase, but I just want you to be able to see it. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to roughly size in our head. How big do we want the head to be? So I'm going to make a little circle. See me making the little circle? It's not too bad, right? Now I can divide the circle in half. And in half again. You're like, why am I making a bullseye? But you are. You're going to make a bullseye. Okay. Then I'm going to come down the front with a line. Sketch this down just a little bit off the front of the face. It's kind of an anime way of doing this, but it works really well. And I'm going to bring my jawline up. When I kind of know where that is, I can exaggerate the forward of the face. Dipping into where I have set my eye line. And I'm going to bring out quite a pronounced young person's nose. Features will be sort of close together on a face that's younger. I always tend to kind of age out my faces because I always forget to get those features as close together as they can be. Bring in a little nose, then we're going to swing out for lip. Oh, I need a bigger chin. Right. That gives me just kind of the basis of my head to work from. I'm choosing blue because I can erase it into the background sky and have you guys still see it. You could use your traceable just to transfer the image onto the canvas right now. I just thought you might like to see. I had a lot of people like, how did you get that in? I'm going to come diagonally across here, set the ponytail. I know that's crazy, but it's how I do. right? So it's going from the lips up there. And this is nice because this lets you set the ear if you were going to set an ear, because you know you got to have places where it will let your glasses sit. See how that goes? Your glasses could sit there.
You know what I don't think we did going in? I don't think we did step 1 yet.
Oh,
we didn't
John.
hit step 1 because we went right into the drawing.
Yeah, I said we were going to. Let's begin.
This is all step 1.
Yes.
This has all been step 1 here, so I just want to make sure that's in there. Because I was like, I just totally, but like in the middle of all this, realized we didn't go. I'm sorry.
It's super okay.
But this has been step 1, brought to you by the Art Sherpa.
Brought to you by the Art Sherpa.
And missed
now
by
I'm
this
going to
again.
kind of imply a little bit of a neck coming off here. Even though I know I'm going to blow all the hair forward, I want to know where that is so that my shoulders and hair flow comes off the correct place. And then I'm going to have an embankment that's going to come forward a little bit that I'm going to put my little dandelions on. Again, if you use the traceable, this is very, very, very easy. And if it's actually not that hard if you're trying to learn how to do this type of painting, to do this type of painting. Okay, let's dry this, and then we're going to do step 2.
So, thank you guys. Yeah, no, sorry I missed that. Just been catching up on. We had a little camera stuff that changed, so I was over there making you guys may have saw me making a little adjustment. I was bumping that little. What you see there is Cinnamon has her phone up there, so she can see it for chat, and it's just ever so slightly in the frame. And so, and that's because we moved some things around on the top of her little control panel there. And so I didn't catch it until I just saw her. So it was like, boop, stick it in there. And I was like, you saw me adjusting it on the fly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now we can do step 2.
Step 2. I'm going to use a 1-inch Princeton Select brush. This is an oval mop. It has a synthetic filament on it, and it's very soft, but it won't hold a lot of water. I'm going to get it lightly damp, wipe it off on paper towel, and start to load up a little of my phthalo blue and some titanium white. I'm going to start creating my sort of sky blue color, as you do. And I'm going to begin painting in my background. Now, I want this paint to cover the canvas, right? I do want all the canvas, all the little pops and stuff on the white of the canvas to be painted. I'm going to not take it all the way down to the bottom. I don't want to completely erase my sketching. See how I can still see it? Though the blue will allow me to make changes if I feel like any changes need to be made pretty easily. Now I'm going to wipe this off on the bottom on my paper towel. And I'm going to load up my white. Pretty well loaded. I'm going to come up from the bottom and create my kind of light sky effect. See what I'm doing? Now the white can paint out my silhouette, so I'll be a little more precious through here. Because titanium white is fairly pigmented. And I will want to bring this in some to where I know I'm going to have the hair. You can see me getting the canvas kind of worked in. I may come back and add a little bit of light back here so it's a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to load up quite a lot of white in here. And I'm going to just brush in maybe some distant little cloud effects. See how we're doing into the wet paint?
Yeah.
They're like just implied. It's just a little bit of a cloud. On a fairly nice blue day. Now, I'm going to dry that, come back, and hit it with another layer, and that's where it's going to all kind of pull together. So now I have my base blue on here. I can come back and get my little sky technique like completely in.
So, yeah, there you go. Now sort of all back on the same page there, or the same step, so to speak. Boop-a-doo. Yeah, guys, thank you. I appreciate everyone coming, hanging out, being patient with us while we're figuring out where I missed all my buttons, because sometimes I do that. And, you know, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us and being part of the community. If you needed to find more information, check out theartsherpa.com. If you're a patron, check your newsletters. There's some new stuff coming. Probably, I'm imagine that we're going to be sending out a newsletter very shortly. I don't have the exact information on its release date, but I know it's currently being constructed for you and being written, and has all sorts of really good sneak peeky information, like how to get access to the store and stuff that, you know, you guys are going to want access to.
Woo!
So,
Okay. Some important things for you new painters that you might not know if you're not familiar with acrylic paint. The blues are very transparent, right? So sometimes they're streaky on your canvas. They have a high tinting strength. So they really work your white. By creating this baseline here, whether you're painting with inexpensive paints or professional paints, you're going to give yourself this amazing head start on getting this like foggy, distant little blue sky but light cloudy day effect. We're going to do an interesting thing here. We're going to rinse our brush out really, really well. And we're going to dry it off with, a towel, because I don't want too much water on it. I like to control the amount of water. I'm going to come back into my white this time. And I'm going to come back from the bottom. See how I'm doing? Now, because even as I added water to that and everything, because the blue's already there, can you see how it's kind of giving us that blue sky down low? I can paint into her a little bit here as long as I can still see where she is. I can be a little thicker in some of it. Take that all the way down to the base. This also makes up for canvases that are maybe inexpensive and not taking paint really nicely, or even paper, because it gets you that sealant in that first run. So if the technique is giving you grief, then it's a lot easier coming back through. Now going up, what I can do is then add blue, and look at that. See how that worked? I come right where this edge is wet with a little bit of blue, and look at that go. We get that nice technique, good coverage. Canvas looks really good. Looks super finished. It's bluer up top and lighter at the bottom. Isn't that fun? Now I'm going to rinse this off. And put a little paint just kind of on my brush. You can see a lot of the water is out of it. And I take the corner and look, I just make some little marks that are distant clouds. See, little tiny curvy little marks. And that can kind of imply clouds that are in here. A lot of times when you're new to painting, you think of clouds as like little cotton balls that float in the sky. They're actually a hot mess, and soft and diffused. They have hard edges and soft edges, and even on a day where they look like white clouds, they still have shading around them. And so this is just an easy way for you to get that. You don't have to be too worried back here because we've got the hair. Right? See, I'm just coming in on the corner. Now you've got good coverage on your canvas. You've got a nice effect, and you've managed to do some loose clouds. You could use a bright round, a hog bristle round, like this one too, to get a very similar effect if you guys couldn't find that mop. But an oval mop and a synthetic is a really nice thing to have in your acrylic paint bucket because it just really lets you do a lot of soft, fun blending things. Now let's dry this and we're going to do the next step.
All right.
We're going so fast, aren't we?
You're just stepping away. It's like she's got like dance moves. She's stepping so fast. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us and being members of our chat. Like you know, all the guys here in, I see you guys the emoji chat. That's really fun. We really appreciate you guys joining that. I had a request here before going too deep on that on heat. Don't use heat because ultimately acrylic paint is made of a synthetic polymer. Those synthetic polymers are heat sensitive. Now that can mean lots of things. It varies from really in the quality of the paint, whether it's a more budget student paint or it's a more professional paint will really determine the reactiveness to heat. But in general, heat can cause there to be a subtle color shift. It can cause the paint most concerningly to become sticky and tacky when you heat it up, so that the next layer going over it will tend to overly grip to it or sometimes not grip enough. Okay, not sure what happened there. Okay, but
Good questions I had.
all right.
The bug asked if I was going to use a traceable, would I use it during the sketching step or after the sky is done? So if I use it during the sketching step, which can be nice on a traceable because it transfers on nicely to the raw canvas, I would want to outline the face with the blue and let that dry and kind of do what I did here, like that much at least in the paint. If I wanted to do it after the sky is done, then I would definitely want to use Ceril paper. You could do either. I think for new painters, it might be the easiest to do it after the sky is done, but either will work and will get you there how you need to be. And then Celtic Peasant says, Cinnamon and John and Moz, you're all the best. So is everyone here. Man, I have to agree with that. Yeah. It needs a heating?
You said so.
Did I just say it? Oh, okay. Because I didn't feel like I said anything like super recently, but I was like, maybe I did and I didn't know it. Okay. So now we're going to be doing the silhouette, right? I'm going to use a number 4 round. And whenever you're using black paint or doing a silhouette painting on a canvas, which is a great fun thing to do, it is important to know that it's easier to add black than remove it. You can always dry the painting and then paint the background color back on over it and cover it back up. You can fix a boo-boo, but it's better to like err on the side of caution and then build up your silhouette rather than have to take it down. I'm going to take a round and I'm going to thin my black paint, my heavy bodied black paint, Mars Black, right? You know what it is? I did say the paint colors, didn't I today?
I think so.
Okay. I was like, maybe that's what threw like off the steps.
I could. Remember, I was adjusting.
Yeah. Let me have a sip.
It only needs while you hold it.
Right.
It isn't a push on, push off. It's push, hold, mute.
I thought I did that.
Okay. No,
Okay.
I just letting you know. We didn't rehearse it very much, so I'm letting you know.
So I'm going to come here to the forehead and I'm going to curve this little line out. All right. Very carefully come along my little nose line. I'm using my number 4 round, right? And I'm going to bring in the little back curve of my nose. That's going well. Okay, and already like I'm a little too out, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing. If I feel like I made a mistake before the paint is dry, I can move it back with a little bit of water. See how I changed my mind there? I want to end my jawline a little closer to this little center line here. By the way, if you were like coming up and setting an ear, it would look kind of like that. If you've never seen that work, that might be interesting. So now I'm going to set bangs, but it's better that I come in and set the top of my head And then I'm going to put this brush to the side because I don't want to try to paint this whole thing in with my smallest brush. I want to use something bigger so I'm not working extra, extra, extra hard. So I'm going to pick a bigger brush. I'm going to go ahead and just pick this. This is a number 8 Bright by Simply Simmons with an extra firm filament. This is a good brush to have if you're looking for good brushes. These are good brushes at a good price point. So if it's a little steep to get into the Raphaels just yet, you can do this and then just very slowly save up over time. Right? Even with inflation, these ones are still a pretty good price. So you can see how I'm just painting the inside of the figure in. And because I'm using a bigger brush, I'm not having to work that hard. Also, my silhouette will look very, very different once it's solid. It's interesting how that works. Do you ever remember the cut paper portraits that people used to get of their kids? My mom had one done of me where they would cut your kid's profile and then you'd frame it. This is a bit like that. Now I know that I'm going to come back with hair, but there's no reason for me not to give a nice shape to my head. It will actually, believe it or not, help me set a better hairline. While I'm here, I'm going to hold my other brush for a second and get my detail out. And I'm going to give myself a little shape to my nose that I like better. I just like kind of fuss with that there. Sometimes I just want to fuss with that, and that is okay. Now I know I'm going to be bringing hair down here. So it's not that I need to paint the neck accurately, and I know I'm going to be bringing hair forward. But I also want to use my big brush to cover the canvas that I can. I don't go much past the chin here. And you can see this is where I took my sky back to. You'll see in a minute why I did that and why you did that. Paint around your little edges here just a bit, just in case you're framing. The black especially will show up. Now I'm going to just barely take out a little bit of black going forward. This will be that little landscape. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because I have to leave myself some room for some little loose grasses. Okay. Let's call this a step because once you get this, the hair and the grass comes in easy and it's its own journey. So let's dry this thoroughly. That way, if we have to rest our hand on the canvas or we're going back and forth, we're not dragging black paint. Okay.
Perfect.
So let's dry this thoroughly.
All right. And, so as I was saying earlier, heat, not good for paint. It just causes a multitude of issues. I hope I helped everyone with that a little bit. If you check in the link in the description down below, you'll find a whole bunch of really good stuff, like links to our website, traceables. Those are the things that you can use to help draw the image in. We have mini books that come, 7 to 10 days, somewhere a week, 2 weeks after we finish a painting, they come out. It takes us a little time to put those together, but we do get them up. And there are going to be a lot more uses of that stuff on our website soon. Man, I don't even know how to explain that stuff. What we're doing is this process where we build out this cool stuff and then just release it to you guys. So rather than like saying, this is what we're doing. So we've been doing some cool stuff and it's now all coming to a place, which is why patrons should be listening to their newsletter, as I keep saying before, because it's like such good news coming on that front.
On which front?
Patron stuff. Like I'm thinking even this weekend, that's hopefully maybe stuff they can know about.
They can know about it.
This is a new step, eh?
This is a new step.
The step of 5.
Step 5, to stay alive. I turned that brush upside down. I know that was bugging me for some reason. I was like, what is bugging me over there? I put a brush upside down in the paint bucket. You should never do that. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take my number 4 round again, and I'm going to come up here to my head. I'm going to go ahead and kind of imply that little ponytail line right there. I'm going to come up over the head here. And then really right at the crown, I'm going to give her some little bangs. You don't have to give your person bangs. I'm just going to give my person some bangs. Bangs are optional. They're just little light lines coming down. Remember, if you're trying to get kind of like a little light, delicate line like this, the pressure is heavier at the beginning and releases sort of at the end. So you get some nice little fringe going there. I can even put some out like they're blowing in the wind. Now I like to come here and get this little bit of blue sky showing through first. So I did there the back of the ponytail. That
Yeah,
way
so
there's that little bit of blue sky right there.
You preserve that.
Yeah, I really want to preserve that. And I'm going to come here. I'm going to give her nice healthy hair count. Come back in. I'll bring some little hair that might come out here. All right, so we're just blowing that out. So I'm trying to capture the silhouette of the hair as well. But sometimes you have to really think about that. Now I'm going to put that to the side and use my big brush again to paint in the large areas. I only need the little brush for the details. You may find that when you paint a black silhouette like this, that you have to repaint areas a couple times like I have right here where the white of the canvas pops through. That is not uncommon, especially on economic canvases. So if you're having that experience, don't be like, oh man, what is wrong with me? Nothing, it's just how it is. You can kind of see how it doesn't want to get in there.
You can really see that the wet black paint reflects the paint and has more of a sparkle to it.
Yeah, so when the paint is wet, it's got a very high gloss, but Mars Black will tend to dry very matte. And that is nice. There are several black paints that you can buy. There's Bone Black, which is actually kind of it's not actually that black. It's got a very low tinting strength. In other words, it doesn't really overpower your paint. And it's a very kind of light and mild color. I'm just making sure everything here is nice and solid. My front could use a little work here. Okay, last little weird detailies that just kind of pull her together are as follows. I'm going to take my number 4 round and get the paint kind of thin. Can you see how I thin the paint? And I roll my brush and I load everything on the tip here. That's how I'm controlling some of that. I'm going to bring some hairs down. Look, I leave a little bit of blue sky going out, and that gives it kind of a neat silhouette, little effect. Kind of getting some little fun back off there. That's good. And I'm going to lightly sketch in my first line. It curves down, it curves up. This is called an S curve, right? And it's just one of the brush strokes that you do a lot in painting. Being able to curve your brush along is a really important thing. A little bit there. Yeah, we can create little flourishes. I'm going to also go back up to the ponytail. You know, maybe give some little hairs there. Because why wouldn't I? Now, along the front edge of this, I'm going to do little upward flicks. They are going to curve to the right and to the left. Just on the toe of my brush, I'm making little upward strokes, kind of implying grass. Even come out here and let them thin out over here, right? Now what I'm going to do is I know that I want the dandelion to be like kind of more here. So I'm going to put the little bulb there. And I'll curve its stem because I don't really want the stem and the hair to cross. Maybe put a little flower here. Just little bits of interesting flora and fauna that can be there. Want to make sure that this little area looks well painted. And I'm going to I'm going to do an interesting kind of little trick here. I'm going to take a chalk tool. Oh man, it's hard for me to see. I'll have to do my dots here so you can kind of see it. I want the dandelion to be open here and here. So I'm just like, these aren't even a ½ inch. They're little lines out, right? I'm going to just very lightly dot a round shape. See how we're dotting the round shape? Dot, dot, dot. At the edge of that, I'm going to flick that out. So you gotta watch for that black paint. That's what I mean about dragging black paint. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just gets everywhere. And then I'll just add some radial little stem lines coming out. To where the little puff is open. Once I have those, I can kind of give a couple little layers to my puff, which thickens it out. It's kind of cool how it do. Now, I like to have a couple stems, and I'm going to really get this on the toe of my brush because I want a fine line here. Make a couple of these. They're like coming free, right? They have a little holdout still attached. Well, but this little guy, he went here. Maybe not a little one went there. Curving. I curve the little flyaway stems. And I want them to go like away off the canvas. And I flick these out. Just flicking those out in a little fan shape. Don't those flick out very easily? Just a happy little flick out. Okay. Now I'm going to dry everything. Hardcore dry it.
Okay. Yeah. So you really want to make sure you thoroughly dry in this process because, well, you don't want to drag just like you saw her doing there. So, and with black, it takes a little bit, so you may have to put a little extra time to get that thoroughly dry. And thank you for all of our members of our patronage. Thank you guys so much out there for Nikki. Oh, for being part of that. I just saw a good question come over. So many black colors. Nikki, we actually have a couple of videos that talk about the different kinds of blacks, and I'm pretty sure that if you go out to our website, this is a great way to plug this. So go to our website, click on the videos tab, and then type in what you want to go find out there. And it'll pull up all the different videos that we have. Another thing here is I'll see if we can get a link dropped for you.
What?
Nikki was asking the difference between all the blacks, and you've done a video on it.
I actually did do a video on it because it's so crazy how many blacks there are. And I'll probably cover it again in the color mixing course because in that there's a hidden painting in the black video. On all the different black paintings, there's a hidden cookie painting that we did because it was a crazy live, and it's a fun cookie. There's hidden cookies like in the how to paint underwater video, which everyone thought I meant like how to scuba dive and paint underwater. I don't know why, but I meant like how to paint things that are underwater. I did this video on how to do that, and there's a hidden lesson in it. So every once in a while, my really old content, because I didn't know how to YouTube, there's hidden lessons. And it's always fun when somebody finds an old one. So that's like the difference between all the blacks, and then of course the how to paint underwater, the hidden lessons. All right, so I've got my round here. I may get my little detail number 1 liner here, and I've got my number 4 round. I'm also going to take advantage of the fact that my chalk will work here. So I'm going to plan my little dandelion puff here. Did we put up a step?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to make this button kind of a half button because it's sort of facing that way. And I'll go ahead and make the puff about that big. And then I'm going to say, make another little puff coming back this way. But it's like, it's been depleted. And then there's going to be a little line of them coming out. And then we're going to have a little line of dots going out this way. So it should be pretty fun, pretty chill. I've put out the fluid titanium white acrylic paint. You could thin your heavy bodied paint like you did your black to paint over it. When you thin a heavy body paint, you do kind of lower the pigmentation. And the reason why sometimes in some techniques, I just go ahead and buy the fluid, which you can get a little 1 ounce bottle of it, right? Which is the golden fluid acrylic, is because they like triple down on the pigment in it. So it's got really high coverage. I'm going to come here and I'm going to repeat the grass effect in little light. Say I'm being all light and flicky. Flicky, flick, flick, flick. If you're getting thick lines of grass, you're pressing too hard. That's all that's happening. You're not bad at painting. You just haven't figured out your brush pressure yet. And I think in my beginner acrylic painting course, we talk about how to control that. What to get when you sign up for Patreon if you're Canadian. You get all the same things if you sign up for Patreon if you're Canadian. I just don't know if we're going to be able to do the Canadian discount store thing. Are we? I don't know. Yeah, that's the only thing I don't know for when the store opens, but we'll make sure we communicate that very clearly. But other than that, since it's all digital and it's not shipping and everything, and we still will ship like to our patrons if we do a painting giveaway, we tend to ship those because it's like one painting. We'll ship those to whoever wins, wherever they are. Now, I'm not going to take it all the way down the black. I'm going to definitely kind of taper it off, mimicking what we had happen here. See what I'm doing? Kind of shortening that little line of grass. It's like two little levels of grass. I like to put little flowers in there as well. Those are fun. Darcy's like, I make ugly grass. Maybe we need a grass class.
I think that you had that planned.
I did. I wrote a grass class once. I should do it now that we have the school thing starting to work out where we could make that functional. So up at the top of my little one dandelion, it got kind of like, he's like all blown away. I'll curve a little stem down. And I will add the little tendrils. You know what I'm talking about? The little tendrils that are at the bottom of a little dandelion. Give myself a little bit of a... I haven't even needed to get the one out. I may be able to just one brush this. We'll see. We'll see. Tap, tap, tap at the top of my dandelion puff. Kind of curve that around. That's actually all that takes to do the shape of that one. Same thing as on the one we did in the silhouette in black. Let's go all around, making the little puffy puffs. Little puffy puffs. I am hoping that Canada is one of the first places that I hope so, man. We're hoping that relocating in Ireland will allow us to ship to the EU.
Yeah, we have some partners that we'll work with over there.
Yeah. I'm not sure how all that works yet. I'm real new, but we're learning. I'm going to come around and make little lines. Going around just like I did with the black. See how we did there? Little lines. Go around the tip. And then a little curve. So some little ones that are going out. Now I'm going to get here and start my little dots. See, dot, 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 dot. Just on the toe of my little brush here. I don't know. It's magic. It's what it is. On the toe of my brush. Dot, 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 dot. And then I kind of like to dot this sort of outline and fluff. See, I'm just doing little tiny dots. Oh, dot, 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 dot. It helps to say it. I don't know why. Dot, 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 dot. I can even come in and highlight some of my fluff. And even give some highlights to some of my little stems going out. Kind of gives it some dimensionality, I think. Little magic going out. I like to just give some little extra little line. Kind of, can you see the puff? Yeah. I feel like it just, even though this is a silhouette painting, doesn't mean we can't do extra. Just coming there and adding those little dot, 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 dots. Dot, 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 dot. If you have my dotting tool, you can use that absolutely. It's just a little extra, kind of gives that little poof it. Come in and just make sure that this looks exactly how you want it to look. Sometimes I'll come in and add a little highlight a couple places if it needed it. Sometimes that will help clean up a line on a face and stuff. Doesn't take too much. And guess what? I'm going to take my liner. Give this a signature.
This was a really nice one.
It's just a fun, you know, let's start painting. If you thought this was fun, and I have the beginner acrylic painting course, and all of those paintings, all of them are one hoot and only use primary colors. And that course gets you going.
Yeah.
That course will get you going, and it's free. I got to check to see if anybody's applied for certificates actually here really soon. It comes with a certificate. So that course is free and just a ton of fun. I hope you like this one today. I thought this was just this kind of an old school delight, like way back to the early days of our early simpler paintings on YouTube. Now coming up on the next painting that we have, we're doing a Latour pansy. That is a reproduction of a famous painting. I mean, I've sort of cropped it and made it my own, and we're probably going to pop the colors a little bit. So it's just a, you know, because like, well, we have the colors now. Why wouldn't we make the pansies even more lush and wonderful? But we're going to be doing that. And then after that, coming up will be a time lapse. So you can see the peak of the Grisaille painting of the beautiful landscape with the stream, which is a more involved painting. And after that will be the full real-time lesson. And then we've got the hydrangeas on the beach. And I guess because you guys like the trees so much and you like the the girl with the crazy blue skin that everybody was like, that is just like Avatar. Have you seen Avatar? Let me officially answer this. I saw the original Avatar. I have not seen Way of Water because I don't go to the movie theater anymore. I don't like it. I like streaming at home with my own bucket of popcorn and just not sharing the movie theater with anyone. I totally see why everyone, like so many people were, I was kind of like more in the Mother Earth Goddess Healing Rebirth camp, but I totally see once everybody said it, I was like, oh yeah, I see that too. So I think I'll be putting her up, even though she's a big lesson. And I may take your guys' advice and break her into smaller classes, maybe turn her into one of the classroom classes. So
Yeah.
that is what is coming up. And again, working on getting the color mixing course out to you guys. So you guys can take that. So Acrylic April is chill this year. Not that it's ever really chill. Not that it's ever really chill, but it'll be a fun year for Acrylic April.
Yeah.
That's all the stuff that's going on. Don't miss the newsletter.
So much.
Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you and Hazel really soon. Bye-bye.